a long hedge. Okay, we're going to come back and talk about something called the Homestead Hot Pink Verbena Live Plants. This is a pink that is beautiful. $31.98. It's an $894.26. This can be ground cover for sunny areas, especially where it's warmer. But we'll talk more about if you live in like Pennsylvania or even farther north into New York, you're still good up till about what temperature?
About -5 degrees.
-5 degrees.
Cold.
So some parts of New York might get colder than that. Around here, Pennsylvania, unless you're in the north part of Pennsylvania, it doesn't go that low. So this will work for you. But let's talk about this. $31.98, and you're getting 5 plants. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 plants for $32. So it's a great price. This is gorgeous.
Beautiful, isn't it? The flowers are so lovely, and the foliage is so nice. It's a nice combination. And it's as we said, it's a ground cover, so it takes up a lot of space. So if you plant this in an area, it will colonize it, and it will suppress the weeds.
Oh, wonderful!
And so many times,
again, you don't have to mulch if
right,
you put
save a lot of
like
mulch.
This.
Yeah, and if you have a troubled area in your garden, if there's been new construction or there's a bank that's hard to get to. I know I've got this bank in my yard, and I feel like I have to be a mountain goat to get up to there to weed. I'm going to plant some of these there, and that will suppress the weeds and grow and look beautiful. And the flowers are so bright. They're bright close up. They're bright far away. So you can plant them anywhere.
And obviously, even when now I would say this is not evergreen though. This is not going to stay green in the winter, right?
It's like a typical herbaceous perennial that will die back to the ground and then resprout in the spring.
Okay, and will we get flowers most of that season?
You'll probably get flowers from May to the frost. So this is a perennial that thinks it's an annual, and it parties like an annual. So it just keeps putting out flowers, putting out flowers.
I love that. Parties like an annual. Now these are late spring like to fall, like you said, mildew resistant.
They are
Let's
mildew resistant.
Talk about
a lot of verbena gets, it's called powdery mildew. So you may have seen it on some of your plants where they turn white and it looks like, moldy, dry, ugly leaves. These are resistant to that.
Wow.
So they don't, buy into that disease. So that helps them look really good.
Yeah, and you have worked in laboratories with plant breeding. That's the whole thing that plant breeding is about, isn't it? Is more to make the plants more hardy and like less or more resistant to disease or mildew and that type of thing.
Right. You want a beautiful plant that's resistant to disease, that is better than something we had before. So we're always going towards the perfect plant. We want the perfect plant that blooms all year long, looks great, is easy to take care of. We don't want to spray fungicides and herbicides. We want them just to be healthy on their own.
Right. That's a good point. You know, and taking the best characteristics of maybe some of the different species and putting them all together.
Right. Exactly.
I love that idea.
Oh, and this is native to the southeast United States.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
So if you plant this, you'll be planting a plant that's already part of the ecosystem of the United States. So and it attracts pollinators.
Why is that important?
Sometimes plants can be invasive. We have these plants that grow normally here, and sometimes plants come from other countries and they're bullies. So they're so happy here that they grow so well that they push out the plants that were here before.
I see.
So that could be a problem.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is nice to know when it's native to the United States. Look how sweet these little petals are. The little petals, just sweet, and it almost reminds me of what you would see on that butterfly bush, only this doesn't have the spike to it.
Right, so these are multiple flowers. Each little flower head is multiples of our little florets.
Yeah,
so they're all tiny little flowers. And again, the butterflies can come and they can linger there because there's so many little cups of nectar they can drink from in one spot.
Yeah. And evening moths, tell me a little bit about that, because I don't even know what those are.
They're moths that come out at night, and typically they have long proboscis. It's a long proboscis, so they can drink nectar from long tubular flowers.
Yeah.
So you can see them. If your garden is high up, you can see the silhouette of them in the horizon. But you go out with your flashlight some night, and they really love some fragrant plants. So if you have a fragrant plant, they'll hang out there and really do their feeding at night.
Oh my goodness. And it's resistant to deer, so another great idea. It's heat tolerant, which is wonderful, but like anything, let's show them how it comes and kind of give me an idea of how far apart should I plant these so that they have room to spread.
So they'll be coming as this nice little size. They are small, but they grow really fast. So I'd plant them a foot or two apart.
Okay.
And they will spread to at least 2 feet probably in the first year. This is
Yeah.
probably 1 year's growth.
Wow,
But
look
they
at
look
that.
small, but they will do their thing and they'll grow on, especially if you use the bud and flower booster fertilizer.
Oh, right, yeah,
so,
exactly.
give them some fertilizer after they're established in the ground. Fertilize them probably every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And they'll be happy for you. Oh, and this is a ground cover that blooms. It's so hard to get a ground cover that blooms.
It's exactly
Yeah,
right.
usually it's just green.
Yeah, just green. Real quick, with the fertilizer, do we put that on it when we plant it or wait a couple of weeks?
Wait a couple of weeks because if you
Okay.
plant this, the roots are all just in one area. We need to
Yeah.
wait till it roots into the soil around it so it
I
actually
see.
can absorb it. So
Okay.
wait a week or two.
Okay, good point. That's why I like to ask these questions. In the meantime, stay on the line. Again, a growing guide will come with it. It will tell you all about it. If you want the border or the ground cover, you want to get these. This is hot pink, and it is hot pink. I love it. Verbena live plants. You're reserving yours for right now. They will ship to you in your part of the country when it's time, when the weather is appropriate for you. And in the meantime, let me quickly remind